PSVANE have released their new Horizon series of vacuum tubes, and they sent me some to check out. Before we get started, this video and my channel is being sponsored by PSVANE. Regardless of that, I believe a good review connects the right customer with the company and the right product so that everyone wins. It is of no interest of me to hype up any product just because I'm getting sponsored by the company. The company included does not want people buying their product who are not going to be happy with it, as those people will just complain online. So in that, I actually invite people who have bought these tubes or buy these tubes to post their impressions in the comments below the video with the gear that you're using, so that people who are watching this video can also get impressions from people other than myself before buying these tubes. So anyway, let's get on with it. Now, to start with, these tubes are relatively inexpensive. We're talking about, say, $25-ish for these 12 AU7s that they sent me, and it's about $109 a pair minus 1 cent for a set of 6 SN7s, so about $54, $55 a tube. With the 12 AU7s, that puts it firmly in the sights of the JJ tubes that actually came with this TA30, which were around $20 a tube, and the 6 SN7s somewhere in the middle of the lesser expensive new old stock tubes, but cheaper than, say, the recently reviewed 6 SN7 Select, which you can also see on my channel. Now, to test these tubes, as I said, I used these amps that I have in front of me, the Shit Audio Lear Plus and the X-Duo TA30. I also put the 6SN7 in my Studio 6 behind me, but primarily I used these two amps. Now, of course, switching around tubes and comparing with, well, actually a bowl full of new old stock tubes was quite an interesting task, but I managed to do it, sometimes playing whole songs, switching the amps off, and then switching tubes around while trying to keep them relatively warm so that any factor of temperature didn't influence things too, well, excessively much. And I think I got a fair handle on things despite those limitations. I did run the tubes in for a good week to make sure that any changes they might have with, initial use went away, but PSVANE also say that they do check the tubes at the factory, running them in for a few hours as well. Of course, this checks for any bad tubes before they send them out to customers. The useful thing, of course, is you can also buy these tubes on Amazon, at least the ones that are initially available. There will be a considerable list, which I have here, more than is currently available on Amazon as of when I last looked, but I'll leave links to the ones that I'm reviewing in the description below, as well as a link to the whole tube page for the Horizon series. Now, tubes tend to come in, I generally found, about 3-ish flavors. We have a fairly neutral-ish flavor, which I might exemplify by a typical, say, General Electric Sylvania 6SN7, and actually the APOS tube as well. And you have the very kind of warmish sounding tubes like this 5692, which was a reinforced military tube. And then none that I have an example of here, tubes that have maybe a kind of V-shaped sound with a boosted bass and a bit more treble. And I think some of the larger tubes do that, but maybe someone can comment on that about which tubes have what. The Horizon tubes are more on the kind of neutral sound field where, closer to something like your typical Sylvania and things like maybe this Russian MELZ, which is also fairly on the neutral side. Still, the tubes seem to have a touch of warmth to them, a touch of kind of harmonic bloom, and I could note this by comparing the tube with the solid state mode in the Lear Plus, which made it very easy. I prefer having the tube in there over the solid state mode, except with the original, with the tongue sole, which came with the Lear Plus, which I didn't like. It was comparing the different types of tube that I mainly noticed a difference. Maybe, of course, obviously, some tubes like the 5692 will sound warmer, but in terms of detail, where I could compare, say, in the TA30, the original JJ tubes, I could compare the APOS Select series, which I reviewed recently, and likewise the new old stock tubes and the APOS Select in the Lear Plus and the Studio 6. Now, starting with the TA30, comparing the JJ tube, which is around $20 a tube, and of course we have the Horizon, which is $25-ish. They were very close, especially having some seconds between switching things around, having to switch things off, unplug headphones, switch tubes, plug all back in again. That was a little bit tedious, but listening to whole tracks and picking out individual areas where I might notice a difference, especially with more the subtleties in the track. I found that the JJ tubes and the Horizon series were pretty close, but I would say that the sound with Horizon tubes was a little bit better, with more instruments coming out in a more distinct way. In listening to, say, Amber Rubath, which I listened on one of the Chesky albums, I could hear more subtle background sounds with their better recordings that David Chesky tends to make. It was not a great big difference, but I still felt the Horizon tube was a little bit better than the JJ overall, but it was still pretty close as things go. Compared to the APOS Ray Select, obviously this is a more expensive tube, and not surprisingly, I could hear more detail coming out from these tubes, especially on the Amber Rubath, where she's up close to a very high quality microphone. Things like the sound of her lips parting and those really subtle details, note decay, echoes of notes across the recording space were more noticeable with the more expensive APOS tube. It was a similar situation with the 6SN7 tube. Now I ran both of these using the Chord TT to an M scaler as a source, as it's neutral, it's very resolving, and it basically would focus things mostly on the tubes and maybe slightly the amps. Both these amps tend to be fairly neutral in how they're set up. For example, an old Lear 3 is a little bit warmer sounding, which may be a bit of a difference, but these two amps that I have here tend to be fairly neutral. Again, it was much of the same thing, including with the Studio 6, which also has fairly neutral tubes in it at the moment, in that the Horizon tube was very kind of even and clear, but not quite as good at bringing out the subtle nuances of the music as a good new old stock tube. So we have, again, Russian MEL-Z, we have, say, the Sylvania Chrome 50s Chrome tops, which I really like, and also the taller 6SN7, or that's a two-plate. I don't know if it is a bad boy tube, or if those things, there are some stories online that actually someone overhyped those tubes anyway, the 3-hole ones, so that they could sell them for a lot of money. I don't know what the story is, but still, I felt I could hear the subtle nuances again, especially out of vocals and instruments, note decay, venue echo. Those things came through more clearly with the more expensive tubes as well as the APOS Select. But in terms of tonality, it still was fairly comparable to those particular tubes, where maybe there were subtle differences in the amount of, say, tube bloom. For example, the good old Chrome top is maybe slightly sweeter sounding. Don't ask me to define what I mean by that. I just that's the image that comes to mind. It has a slight, I don't know, something about a slight euphonic sound to it, which I really like. So what that led me to conclude is that the Horizon series is, well, if you're looking for not a new old stock tube, but a relatively inexpensive brand new tube, especially if you had something to take a quad of 6SN7s, it's going to start to get very expensive. So like a pair of these tubes, again, was $108.99, $109 essentially. So it's going to be like $220-ish for a quad if you had, say, a preamp that takes those. Whereas if you get, say, the Ray Select, you're looking at $300. So that's a significant saving. I think with the 12AU7s, especially in inexpensive tube amps, say maybe the lower end of the range, maybe the cheaper X-Duo amps like the TA20 and that kind of thing, that's where the 12AU7 could be very good value, especially it's only about $25-ish a tube. A pair of those tubes is going to be cheaper than just a pair of these tubes and a rectifier. And sadly, I couldn't get the rectifier in that they have available, as they weren't able to make one available in time for this review. So probably the only area these tubes are going to really have trouble competing with is inexpensive new old stock tubes. If you can pick up, say one of these Sylvanias, even one of the regular GEs, pretty cheap, then it's going to be, you're going to be competing against those. I think where it's going to really fill in the market is against, say, some of the maybe now harder to get Russian tubes, and also in terms of, say, the 12AU7, like I said, with the JJ tubes that this came with. So I hope that gave you a good overall view of how these tubes perform, at least in the gear that I have here. Again, if you do have these tubes or do get any, please do leave your impressions in the comments below so that it will help inform other people. I'd like to thank PSVANE and all my caffeinators, that are people who are supporting my channel through Buy Me a Coffee. In turn for supporting my channel, they get access to my private Discord. We chat about how to get the most out of our systems, and people get to see my review impressions of gear in advance and actually vote for which gear I'm going to review next. So if you'd like to help me out with my channel and be part of our little community, then I really do hope that you consider becoming a supporter. As always, thanks once again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you online.